What's good? It's your boy, Mixtape Moth, and today I'm gonna hit y'all with a review of the new Big Sean album entitled Detroit 2. Let's get to it. Look, I'm not even going to front like I know a whole lot about Big Sean's music or that I've heard all of his projects, but I do know that he's been MIA musically for some time, and his fans were super pumped about his return with this brand new Detroit 2 album, which is the sequel to his 2012 Detroit mixtape. For me, I never really could get into Big Sean like some people, but I always knew he could rap well, so I respected his skill set. I mean, he can rap. He's a dope rapper. The only three projects that I heard prior to this album were 2015's Dark Sky Paradise, 2017's I Decided, and his Metro Boomin project Double or Nothing from that same year. All of those albums had some decent tracks, but they weren't in my heavy rotation list. So going into this, I wanted to keep an open mind. I know a lot of purists and rap traditionalists can't stand Big Sean, but I've respected him enough lyrically to give this album a shot. Just bear in mind that he's not someone that I normally listen to. Well, the first thing that I observed about this album is that it is super long at an hour and 11 minutes. And what I've found about albums that typically go over the hour mark is that they tend to be a mixed bag. And that is basically what we get with this project, although I have to add that it is actually more good than bad. With that being said, there were definitely songs that I feel we could have scrapped that would have made my rating go higher. Let's talk about the production. A lot of these beats were done by Hit Boy, and we all know about Hit Boy's recent success on the latest Nas album, which I thought was a very dope project. We also get some production and co-production from DJ Dahi, Key Wayne, DJ Khalil, Mike Will Made It, Cool and Dre, No ID, Mustard, and Helluva. Out of all those contributors, I thought it was Hit Boy's production that hit the hardest and was the most standout by far. But before I jump into a track-by-track breakdown, I have to add that there are three skits from Dave Chappelle, Erykah Badu, and Stevie Wonder, which focus on their reverence and love for the city of Detroit. I like how these skits serve to bring some cohesion to this album, as this project is basically Big Sean's ode to his city of Detroit. But with that being said, let me hit y'all with this track-by-track breakdown. The first song, Why Would I Stop, is a great way to start off this album as far as Big Sean bringing that hard-hitting energy. This one is produced by Hit Boy, and it is a banger. I have no issues with the way he set things off. The following song, Lucky Me, also produced by Hit Boy, has two great instrumentals as there is a beat shift. On the first leg of the track, Big Sean gets a little introspective, opening up about being diagnosed with a heart disease at age 19, his mom trying holistic medicine, which cured him, and as a result, he has had a distrust of Western medicine. Makes sense. After the beat shift, his raps are a little faster paced, like how Eminem's have been in the last few years. I definitely liked his lyrics more on the first part of the track because he throws in the cringy pussy tight, I'm claustrophobic on the second part, but overall I thought this was a strong second cut. Big Sean goes 3 for 3 thanks to the following song, Deep Reverence, which features the late, great Nipsey Hussle. This is another Hit Boy production, and it is fire. I recall hearing this a few weeks ago, which actually inspired me to want to check out this album. Nipsey's verse reminds us of just how real he was. You can just feel the realness off of his short verse. It just resonates with you. Big Sean actually had a strong verse as well. He talks about after Nipsey's death, he reached out to Kendrick to squash their differences. Towards the latter part of the verse, he talks about overcoming issues of anxiety and depression. So I can respect all of that deep and introspective lyrical content. This was one of my favorite songs easily. What follows is a song that I was automatically closed off to because I don't respect how Post Malone moves. There are two artists who I refuse to listen to, and that's Post Malone and Tekashi 6ix9ine. I won't listen to Post after his culture vulture remarks about hip hop that he's yet to clarify or make any attempts to demonstrate that he's really down or really respects the culture. And I won't listen to Tekashi because he is a disrespectful snitch. Sorry, but no one's going to be able to convince me to view these two any differently. I try to remain open-minded about a lot of things in life, but not about snitching or culture vultures. Now, I realize Post Malone isn't the only culture vulture, but he just definitely takes the cake for it. Up next, we have the track Body Language featuring Ty Dolla Sign and Janae Aku. I feel like this was a cookie cutter commercial song that I have no desire to listen to. Yeah, this one just wasn't for me at all. Thankfully, things picked back up on Harder Than My Demons. This was co-produced by Mike Will Made It and DJ Khalil. This beat kind of has a Just Blaze feel, but I like the epic and banger-like quality to this instrumental. Big Sean talks overcoming spiritual battles due to his faith in God. It's more of a motivational kind of record. He also talks about embracing the teachings of Dr. Sebi, which I can respect. But then he had to throw in the line about not doing flu shots. So YouTube conspiracy theorists will probably appreciate that line. But yeah, this was a cool record that I'll likely revisit. What follows is the track Everything That's Missing featuring Dwelle. So I like the lyrics here as they were more contemplative and I thought the beat was cool, but I didn't like Sean's crooning on the hook, so I couldn't really get into this track as a whole. I don't know why he felt compelled to sing when he had Dwelle to do just that. After that, we get Zen the Fuck Out, or ZTFO, which is a hypnotic banger with some Travis Scott ad-libs thrown in. I wasn't necessarily too thrilled about the Travis ad-libs, as it is kind of cliche to use those at this point, but I will say the beat is something that you could bob your head to. It's not one of my favorites, but I don't dislike it. Up next, we get the first song that really piqued my interest since the Nipsey track, and it's called Guard Your Heart, featuring Anderson .Paak, Early Mac, and Wale. I like the very classy piano production. It's pretty elegant sounding. Anderson .Paak brings some warm and soothing soul vocals before the rapping starts. Big Sean gets a little introspective with lines like, conflicted in his free-based world of give and take, because I always rather give than to be the one saying thanks. Conflicted like being signed to Ye and managed by Drake. Conflicted like being cool with Pusha and Drake. Okay. Then towards the end of the verse, he also adds, oh, you mistake me falling down for falling off, or mistake me being soft for speaking from the heart. So by that, I think Big Sean is communicating to other young men out there that showing emotion should not be confused with showing weakness. Then Wale closes out the track with some thought-provoking social commentary bars regarding the riots and protesting. Overall, this was a very dope song. The following song, Respect It, produced by Hit Boy, is a vibe-heavy banger. I actually like the instrumental for its hypnotic trap aesthetic. The Young Thug appearance was decent, and I thought Big Sean's following line was kind of clever. Soldiers round me, we done been through major pain. Laser focused ALL, been had aim, aim being spelled AIM. Overall, this was a cool track, something that you could vibe to in the whip. What follows is the Travis Scott featured Lithuania. This one stylistically is similar to the Young Thug song. I like this wavy instrumental a lot, actually, but having Travis as the feature just didn't really do a whole lot for me, as it honestly feels more so like a Travis Scott song featuring Big Sean. It's very formulaic and predictable, like a lot of Travis Scott features. It's not really the kind of track that you listen to for lyrics, although the bars weren't bad. Like the song Respect It, this track is something that you can play when you're vibing out or partying. I didn't really feel one way or the other about it, but I did think the instrumental was hard. After that, we get Full Circle featuring Diddy and Key Wayne. This one was cool. I really like Big Sean's verse, especially the opening part where he said, welcome to the Terror Dome. How my hair has grown. All I wanted was a rollie and a Tupac herringbone. Midwest kids, damn near all we used to hear was bone. The Midwest kids, all we used to hear was bone was definitely a reality if you didn't live in an East Coast city like New York. Big Sean was really rapping on this one, and I thought Diddy and Key Wayne's appearances were solid enough. So I really have no complaints about this track. I thought it was pretty dope. Up next, we have the song Timing featuring Keith Sweat and Janae Aku. To be honest, I couldn't even tell that Keith Sweat was a part of this track because the vocals were so faint. This was another one of Sean's super syrupy and watered down tracks that I couldn't get into whatsoever, so this was an easy skip for me. Then we have the song Freed, which sounds like a banger, but it's pretty much indistinguishable in production sound from a track like Zen the Fuck Out. I suppose it's not bad, but I'm not getting much of a feeling from it either. After this, we get the No ID produced The Baddest. This sounds like it contains a portion of the Godzilla sample that Pharoah Monch used on Simon Says. The beat and the energy here are super hard, but I thought Sean's hook was a bit cringy. Time to show these bitches who the baddest. I mean, was this a J. Cole hook? I feel like This track had way more potential, but the chorus kind of ruined it for me. I don't know, maybe I'm being too critical here. What are some of your thoughts on The Baddest? What follows is the Lil Wayne assisted Dawn Life. While I did like the Michael Jackson Human Nature sample, I thought that the volume came in too loud, and this was just busy sounding overall because the beat actually gave me anxiety. Not sure if anyone else felt this way, but it seemed like both Big Sean and Lil Wayne were fighting for the beat's attention. I feel this could have been much doper if the beat wasn't quite as overpowering. I feel like I have a similar criticism on the enormous posse cut Friday Night Cyphers. Now, on paper, I should really like this one. This has a crazy lineup of all the different artists from Detroit, and they are all pretty much different stylistically. My issue with this song is that there were too many beat change ups, and I think that made the song feel cluttered. I really enjoyed the first beat, though, which sampled from the Clipse's classic track, Grinding, and I feel like if they would have kept this for like the majority of the track and maybe only changed to one other beat, things would have been a lot better and less disjointed sounding. Sure, Eminem, Royce, Payroll, Big Sean, and Boldy James all had dope verses, but this one had too much going on sonically that it made me feel like I had ADHD trying to listen to it. Thankfully, Big Sean ends this album on a high note with the Dom Kennedy assisted Still I Rise. I like the motivational quality to this song. At the end of the record, Big Sean speaks on how taking losses can actually teach you how to win. But the main highlight for me was the DJ Khalil production, which has some celebratory trumpets. I really like the soulful marching band sound here. It just felt very triumphant and uplifting. Overall, I give this album a rating of 3 out of 5. I feel there were some really strong moments on here and songs that I will definitely be revisiting. Big Sean was rapping throughout and spazzing on occasion, so I appreciated all of that. However, there were just too many songs, which rarely works in an artist's favor as it increases the likelihood for filler. And that is exactly what happened here. I think if Big Sean would have condensed this thing down and maybe taken off some of the sappier cuts and a couple of the generic bangers, he would have had a 4-mic album on his hands. I'm not even exaggerating. I'm going to say I liked about 10 songs of the 18, not counting the 3 skits, of course. And that is not to say that Big Sean is not a good rapper or that he didn't have insightful and impressive things to say throughout. It's just that this project was too bloated and filled with some cliche commercial spots. I actually wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt and go with the 3.5 since there were some dope songs, but the number of average songs weighing this thing down prevented me from doing so. Look, if you are a Big Sean fan, then you will likely be pleased with this effort. And to offer some perspective, if you go by the Source magazine rating, which I do because I'm old school, a score of 3 out of 5 microphones meant good, worth checking out. Now, I know some people tend to think that anything below a 4 means you are trashing the artist or that you think the album is whack, but that simply is not the case. Let me repeat that a 3 out of 5 means good, worth checking out. My favorite tracks include Why Would I Stop, Lucky Me, Deep Reverence, Harder Than My Demons, Guard Your Heart, Respect It, Full Circle, some of Friday Night Cypher, and Still I Rise. Let me know what you thought of this project in the comment section below. What should I check out next? It's your boy, Mixtape Moth. I'm signing out, but be sure to hit that like button and please subscribe. As always, it's peace and blessings. Big Sean, Detroit 2-1.